Hello there, and welcome to the Drift Science channel. I'm really glad you're here tonight. Wherever you are right now, whether you're lying in a warm bed or sitting quietly in a soft chair, or just resting somewhere that feels a little safe, I want you to know that this is a good place to be. You made it here, and that's enough. Tonight, we're going to be talking about something very beautiful, something that has been happening all around us for as long as time itself has existed. Tonight, we're going to talk about the circle of life. Now, don't worry, this isn't going to be a lesson. It isn't going to be a lecture. It's simply going to be a quiet conversation, a slow, gentle wander through one of the most peaceful ideas in all of nature. The idea that everything, absolutely everything, moves in a circle. That nothing truly ends. That everything, in its own time, simply continues. And there is something very comforting about that. Don't you think? Just let that sit with you for a moment. Everything continues. There's no rush here tonight. We have all the time in the world. So, if you'd like, you can let your body settle a little more. Let your shoulders drop. Let your hands rest. Let your jaw just soften. You don't need to hold on to anything right now. We're just going to breathe and wander and drift. Very, very gently. And if these evenings bring you a little quiet, a little stillness, a little peace, you might find yourself wanting to come back here each night around the same time. And let this become a soft part of your evening, a little ritual just for you. You can always find us here, waiting, calm and unhurried whenever you need to slow down. And if you feel like this space is something you'd like to return to, there is a small subscribe button somewhere nearby, and pressing it just means we'll always be here for you whenever the night feels a little long. But for now, we don't need to do anything at all. Just rest and listen and let the words wash over you like a slow, warm tide. Because tonight, we're going to talk about the circle, the great, endless, beautiful circle of life. And by the time we're done drifting through it together, you'll be somewhere very soft and very still and very far away from anything that worries you. So, let's begin. Very slowly. So here we are, just you and the quiet and this soft, unhurried voice. There is nowhere you need to be right now. Nowhere to go, nothing to figure out, nothing to remember, nothing to fix. Whatever happened today, it's already behind you now. It has passed, the way all things pass, like a cloud that drifted slowly across the sky and then moved on. You don't need to carry any of it with you tonight. You can just set it down right here and leave it, because this moment, right now, this is yours, just yours, and all it asks of you is that you simply be here. That's all, just be here. Now, I want you to notice something for a moment. Notice the surface beneath you, the bed, the chair, the floor, whatever is holding you right now. Feel how solid it is, how steady. It isn't going anywhere. It was here before you lay down, and it will be here long after you've drifted off. It is simply holding you, quietly and without effort. And you don't have to do anything to deserve that. It just does it. The way the earth holds everything, without asking, without needing anything in return, just holding gently. And I want you to feel, if you can, how your body is already beginning to soften, maybe just a little, maybe in your shoulders, or behind your eyes, or in the slow, steady rise and fall of your chest. Your body already knows how to rest. It has known this since the very beginning, long before your mind learned to think and plan and worry. Your body already knew how to breathe, how to slow down, how to let go. And tonight, we're going to let it do exactly that. There is something I'd like to remind you of. Something simple, something that is very easy to forget when the days get busy and the thoughts get loud. And that is this: you are part of something much larger than yourself, something ancient and slow and extraordinarily patient, a rhythm that has been moving long before you arrived here and will keep moving long after this moment has passed. And right now, in this quiet, you are part of that rhythm. Your breathing in and out is part of it. The rise and fall of your chest is part of it. Even the heaviness you might feel behind your eyelids right now is part of it. Everything is moving in its own time, in its own circle. And tonight, we are going to explore that very gently. But first, I just want you to take one slow breath with me. In through the nose. If that feels comfortable, let it fill you softly, and then let it go slowly, no rush, just out. And with that breath, just let yourself arrive here a little more fully, here in this room, here in this quiet, here in this moment, where everything is still and nothing is required of you. Tonight's story is not really a story in the traditional sense. There are no heroes, no villain, no urgency, no problem to be solved. It is more like a slow walk through a very beautiful place, where you are free to look at whatever catches your eye and to wander wherever feels comfortable. And if your mind drifts, that's perfectly fine. In fact, it's welcome. Let it drift. That is exactly what we are here for tonight. Because the circle of life is not something you need to study or memorize or understand in any complicated way. You already know it, somewhere deep inside, in the part of you that has watched seasons change and felt the cool air of an autumn morning and looked up at a full moon on a quiet night and felt, without quite knowing why, that everything is going to be okay. You already know the circle. We're just going to remember it together. Slowly, quietly, one soft idea at a time. So, let your eyes be however they want to be right now. Heavy or closed, or soft and still. Let your hands rest wherever they've fallen. Let your legs be heavy. Let your whole body feel just a little heavier with each slow breath. There is nothing to watch for, nothing to wait for, nothing coming that you need to be ready for. Just this, just now, just the quiet and the gentle sound of this voice carrying you somewhere soft, somewhere slow. We're going to begin just a little bit in the next moment, and we're going to start the way all circles start, which is not at the beginning, not at the end, but simply somewhere in the middle, because that is where we always find ourselves, in the beautiful, unhurried middle of things. And that is a very peaceful place to be. So let's begin right here, in the middle of things, where everything is already moving in its own quiet, unhurried way. Think for a moment about the seasons. You've lived through many of them, more than you probably think about, each one arriving in its own time, never rushing, never late, just coming, the way all things come when they are ready. Think about winter first, that long, slow, quiet season, when the world seems to pull itself inward, like a creature settling down for a long sleep. The trees let go of their leaves, not with sadness, but with a kind of ease, a kind of trust, as if they know, without needing to be told, that letting go is not the end. It is simply part of the circle. In winter, the ground becomes still. The fields rest. The animals slow down. The days grow short and the nights grow long. And there is a hush over everything, a deep, blanketing quiet, like the whole world is breathing slowly, in and out, resting, waiting, not with impatience, but with a kind of deep, abiding calm, a knowing that what comes next will come in its own perfect time, and then, one day, without announcement, without fanfare, the light begins to change, just a little, just the softest shift, a few more minutes of daylight, a slight warmth in the afternoon air. The ground, beneath all that stillness, begins to stir. Something deep inside the earth begins to wake, and spring begins to arrive. Spring is a gentle thing, despite what people sometimes think. Yes, there are flowers and birdsong and a kind of aliveness that returns to everything, but it doesn't happen all at once. It happens slowly, one blade of grass at a time, one bud, one blossom, one small green shoot pushing up through the soil, and each one of those small things is its own little miracle, its own small, quiet act of continuation. The flowers don't rush, they don't compete, they simply open. When the warmth reaches them, when the light is right, when the time is exactly as it should be. And there is something very comforting about that, isn't there? The idea that everything opens when its time comes. Not before, not after, but exactly when it is meant to. And then summer comes, long and warm and full of light. The days stretch out like a slow golden afternoon. The trees are full. The earth is green and alive. Everything is in full bloom. And yet even summer, even in all its fullness, is not permanent. It doesn't need to be. Its beauty is not lessened by the fact that it will change. If anything, it is made more beautiful by that very fact, because we know it is a gift, a passing, precious, gentle gift. And so, slowly, the golden light of summer begins to deepen. The afternoons shorten. The air takes on a cool, crisp edge, and autumn arrives. Quietly, the way all beautiful things arrive. Without warning, without needing to announce themselves, autumn is perhaps the most honest of all the seasons. It doesn't pretend that things stay the same. It simply shows you that change can be breathtaking. That letting go can be the most colourful thing you ever do. The leaves turn red and gold and amber, and for a little while, the world looks like it is on fire with warmth before everything grows still and quiet, and the circle begins again. This is the first great circle, the one most of us have felt deep in our bones, even if we've never stopped to name it. The turning of the seasons, winter into spring, spring into summer, summer into autumn, autumn back into winter, around and around, slowly, gently, endlessly. And here is the beautiful thing about that circle. It has never, not once, in the entire history of this earth, failed to turn. Winter has always, always given way to spring. The darkness has always, always softened into light. Every single time, without exception. So if you are in a winter of your own right now, in a quiet, dark, resting kind of time, that is okay. That is simply where the circle has brought you. And just like the seasons, your spring will come in its own time, in its own way, without you having to force it, without you having to do anything at all, except rest and trust the circle, the way the trees do, the way the earth does, the way everything has always done. Let's drift a little further now into another circle, one that happens every single day, one so familiar that we rarely stop to marvel at it. The slow, steady dance of day and night. Right now, wherever you are, it is night. The world outside has grown dark. The noise of the day has softened. The busyness has settled. And the night has wrapped itself around everything, like a warm, dark blanket. But think about this. On the other side of the world, right now, someone is watching a sunrise. The sky is turning pink and gold and soft orange. The birds are beginning to sing. The day is beginning, and they are waking up to the same sun that you are sleeping under. Isn't that something? The sun is always rising somewhere and always setting somewhere, always. It never stops. It never pauses. It just keeps moving, tracing its slow arc across the sky, bringing light and warmth and morning to one part of the world, while it carries quiet and darkness and rest to another. Think about the last sunrise you saw, or even the last time you noticed the sky in the morning. Maybe it was from a window, or on a walk, or just stepping outside for a moment, and the sky was that soft, pale, early morning morning blue, and the air smelled clean, and for just a second, everything felt very still, very new. That is the gift of the daily circle. Every single morning, without exception, the world begins again, fresh, clean, a new page. Whatever happened yesterday, the morning doesn't carry it. The morning just arrives, quietly, and offers you something new. And every evening, the sky puts on that slow, soft show. The light turns golden, the shadows grow long, the colours deepen, and then, gently, the day lets go. The stars begin to appear, one by one, shyly at first, and then more and more, until the whole sky is soft with them. The night is not an absence of light. It is its own kind of light, slower, quieter, cooler, but light nonetheless. The moon, gentle and silver and impossibly calm. The stars, each one a sun, impossibly far away, shining just the same. And through all of this, you sleep, or you try to, and the earth keeps turning, unhurried, patient, carrying you through the darkness and back, slowly, inevitably, toward the light. That is a comforting thought, isn't it? That even while you sleep, the circle is turning, that you don't have to do anything to bring the morning. It will come. It always comes. You can let go of the day now. You can release it completely. Let the darkness hold you for a while, the way it has always held everything, the way it held every creature and every tree and every quiet field long before you were born, and will hold everything long after this moment has passed into morning. Let's wander somewhere else now, somewhere even quieter. Let's think about something very small, something so small you could hold it in your palm, a seed, a single seed, lying in the earth, in the dark, in the quiet, with no way of knowing what it will become. It doesn't think about it. It doesn't plan. It doesn't worry. It just rests in the darkness, patient, still, waiting for the right conditions, the right warmth, the right moisture, the right moment, and then, when everything is ready, something stirs deep inside that tiny shell. Something begins to soften, to reach, to push, very gently upward. The seed doesn't know about the sun, not yet. It has never seen it, and yet, something inside it leans toward it, reaches for it, trusts that it is there, that first tiny shoot pushing up through the soil. It doesn't know what awaits it, whether it will become a flower or a tree, a blade of grass, or something that blooms only once. It simply grows, because that is what it was made to do. And slowly, that small, green, impossibly fragile thing finds the light, unfurls itself, and begins. Think about how patient that process is, how unhurried. The seed doesn't rush the roots don't rush the stem doesn't rush the leaves. Everything comes in its own order, in its own time, step by quiet step. And one day, that plant that grew from a seed so small you could barely see it will produce its own seeds. and those seeds will fall or be carried by the wind or tucked away by a small animal or drift on the surface of a river, and somewhere in the earth they will rest, in the dark, in the quiet, patient, waiting for the right moment, and the circle continues. There is something very beautiful about seeds, something very hopeful. In the most quiet and unhurried way, they ask for nothing. They demand nothing. They simply carry within them everything they need and trust the world to do the rest. Maybe we are a little like seeds sometimes, resting in the dark, waiting for the right conditions, trusting, even when we cannot see the sun, that it is there, that it will come, that everything we need is already inside us, waiting quietly for the right moment. Let's drift a little further now, somewhere cool and still and ancient. Let's think about water. Water is one of the great travelers of this world. It has been moving and changing and returning since long before any of us were here. The same water, over and over, in a circle so large and so slow that we rarely notice it. Think about a raindrop falling from a cloud, softly, tapping against a leaf, running down a stem, sinking slowly into the earth, finding its way underground, through the dark, cool soil, joining other drops, becoming a trickle, then a stream, then a river, and the river moves, slowly at first, through fields and forests, over smooth stones, around quiet bends, reflecting the sky above it, the clouds, the birds, the changing light, and eventually that river reaches the sea, that vast, slow-breathing thing, so enormous and so ancient that it makes all our worries feel very small. In the best possible way, the water rests there for a while, in that great, deep, blue stillness, and then the sun touches the surface, gently, warmly, and the water begins to rise, not as a river, not as a drop, but as something lighter than air, as vapor, invisible, weightless, rising into the sky, and up there, in the cool heights above the earth, it gathers with other droplets, forming clouds, those soft, slow, drifting things that we love to watch from below. And one day, when the clouds are ready, the water falls again, as rain, as snow, as the softest mist on a grey morning, and begins its journey all over again. That raindrop falling on your window tonight may once have been part of a river in a place you've never been, or a wave in an ocean on the other side of the world, or a snowflake that fell 1,000 years ago and dissolved quietly into the earth. The water doesn't know any of this. It doesn't need to. It simply moves and changes and returns over and over in that great, slow, eternal circle. And there is something deeply calming about that. The idea that nothing is wasted, nothing is lost. It all just changes form and continues. Let's rest here for a moment and think about something that moves above us, high in the sky, on certain evenings, especially in autumn. If you look up, you might see them, birds, flying in great, loose formations, heading somewhere warmer, somewhere the winter cannot reach them. Migration is one of the most extraordinary circles in all of nature, and one of the quietest. It happens every year. Birds traveling thousands of miles, following something inside themselves, some deep, ancient knowing that tells them it is time to go. They fly over mountains, over oceans, over cities full of noise and light, guided by the stars and the magnetic pull of the earth, and something that science can explain but never quite capture. On instinct, a trust, a certainty that the way forward is simply forward. And they arrive in warm places where food is plentiful and the air is soft, and they rest and feed and wait out the cold. And then, when the days begin to lengthen again, when that ancient instinct stirs once more, they turn around and fly back to the same place they started, sometimes to the exact same tree, the exact same branch. Imagine that, crossing an ocean and arriving home. There is something in that speaks to something very deep in us. The longing to return, the knowing that no matter how far we wander, there is always a way back, always a circle, bringing us home. You don't have to go anywhere tonight. You're already home, already still, already where you need to be. Let the birds fly their great circles above you while you rest, warm and quiet and perfectly still. Let's go somewhere quiet now. Let's step very gently into a forest. At night, imagine the darkness between the trees, soft and deep, the smell of earth and leaves, and something green and living, the faint sound of wind moving slowly through the branches above, a sound like breathing, like the whole forest breathing. The trees stand very still, the way trees do, rooted, patient, going nowhere, and yet alive, profoundly, quietly alive. Beneath your feet, if you were really there, the ground would be soft, layered with years and years of fallen leaves, each one once alive, each one now becoming part of the earth again, feeding the roots of the trees above. This is the circle that the forest has always known. The leaves grow and fall and return to the earth, and the earth feeds the trees, and the trees grow more leaves, and those leaves fall in their time and return over and over, nothing wasted, everything returned, everything continuing. In the quiet of the forest at night, small creatures move, slowly, a hedgehog shuffling through the undergrowth, an owl perched silently in the branches above, watching with those great calm eyes, a fox padding softly along a path it knows by heart. None of them are hurrying. None of them are worried about tomorrow. They are simply in the circle, moving through their piece of it with quiet, natural ease, and the forest holds all of them, the way it has always held everything, with deep, unhurried patience. You can rest in that image for a while, The dark, still forest, the soft ground beneath you, the trees standing quiet all around, the owl watching, the fox walking softly, the wind moving gently through the canopy, everything in its circle, everything at peace. So here we are, still drifting, still moving gently through the circle. And I want to come back to some of what we've already touched. Not because you missed anything, but because some ideas are worth sitting with a little longer, like a warm cup of something soothing that you hold in both hands and sip very slowly because it feels good and there is no reason to rush. We talked about the seasons. Do you remember winter and spring and summer and autumn? And autumn, each one arriving in its own time, each one giving way to the next. Without resistance, without complaint, I want to come back to winter for a moment. Because winter is often misunderstood, people sometimes think of it as an absence, a lack of something, a waiting for something better to come. But winter is not empty, not at all. Under all that stillness, under the frozen ground, under the bare branches, under the quiet, life is resting, deeply, completely restoring. The bulbs are sleeping in the earth. The seeds are waiting. The roots are holding steady. The sap has drawn itself deep inside the trees. Safe, warm, tucked away from the cold. Winter is not the absence of life. It is life, resting. It is the circle, breathing in, before it breathes out again into spring. And maybe, on some nights, when we feel a little quiet inside, a little withdrawn, a little like we want to draw the covers up and stay very still, that is not a bad thing. That is simply our own small winter, our own resting, our own breathing in. Before the spring, there is nothing wrong with resting, nothing at all. The earth does it, the trees do it, the seeds do it, and when the time is right, they all wake up, full and ready and new. So will you. Let that thought settle gently, like a snowflake, landing on still water, without a sound. It is okay to rest. It has always been okay. And we talked about the rain. Do you remember the raindrop falling from the cloud, finding its way into the earth, becoming part of a river, and then the sea, and then the sky again? What I love about that circle is how unhurried it is. A raindrop doesn't rush to become the sea. It takes its time. It seeps slowly through the soil. It trickles quietly through underground channels. It joins the river and moves at whatever pace the river moves. It doesn't push. It doesn't force. It simply flows in the direction things naturally go. And there is a lesson in that, if you want one. Or you can just hold it as an image. Cool water, moving slowly, finding its way without effort, without strain, just flowing. The way things do when we stop trying to push them. Think about a river for a moment. Not a fast, rushing river, but a slow one, a wide, lazy river, moving through a green valley on a warm afternoon, the surface barely rippling, reflecting the sky above, the clouds drifting past in the water. water, the light dancing very gently. You are sitting on the bank, in the shade of a tree. The grass is soft beneath you, the air smells like summer, and the river just moves. And past you, quietly, without needing anything from you, just sit there for a moment, in that image, beside that slow, easy river. Let it move past you. Let the day be warm and still. Let there be nothing you need to do. Just sit and watch the water. And we spoke about seeds, those small, patient things, resting in the dark, trusting the world to do its part. I want to stay with that image for a little longer, because there is something about seeds that I find endlessly comforting. The idea that within something so small, something so fragile, is everything it needs to become something extraordinary. A tiny acorn lying in the leaves on the forest floor contains within it an oak tree, a full, enormous, ancient oak tree with roots that reach deep into the earth and branches that stretch wide into the sky, and a trunk so thick that you could rest your back against it and feel the whole quiet steadiness of it. All of that inside something you could hold between your fingers. The acorn doesn't know this. It doesn't need to know. It simply is what it is, and carries what it carries, and trusts. Maybe you carry more than you know too. Maybe within you, right now, even on the quietest nights, even when things feel very still, there is something growing, patient, unhurried, waiting for the right moment to reach toward the light. And we thought about the birds, flying their great circles across the sky, finding their way home. I want you to imagine them now, not flying, but resting, because even birds, with all that distance inside them, even they need to rest. Imagine a small bird, perched on a branch, on a quiet night, its feathers puffed up gently against the cool air, its eyes closed, its small body perfectly still, resting, restoring, trusting that the branch will hold, trusting that morning will come, trusting the circle. That small bird knows something we sometimes forget. That resting is not giving up. It is preparing. It is part of the journey. As important as the flying, as necessary as the wind beneath the wings, rest is not the opposite of moving forward. Rest is how we move forward. Let that sit with you softly. Rest is how we move forward. And the forest, that quiet, dark, breathing forest, where everything has its place and everything returns and nothing is wasted. Think of the leaves again, falling in autumn, each one drifting down in its own time, in its own way, some spinning slowly, some gliding sideways on a breath of wind, some falling straight and fast, all of them eventually settling on the soft, dark earth. And as they lie there, they don't disappear. They slowly, gently become part of the earth. They break down. They soften. They feed the roots of the very trees that let them go. And those trees, fed by the fallen leaves, grow new leaves in spring. And those leaves live out their season and fall again in autumn and return again. There is a kindness in that, a generosity, The tree gives and receives, and gives again, without keeping score, without needing to hold on. Everything in the circle both gives and receives. The rain gives itself to the earth. The earth gives itself to the seed. The seed gives itself to become the tree. The tree gives its leaves back to the earth. And the earth holds all of it, quietly, without complaint, without exhaustion, just holding and giving and receiving over and over in that great, slow, beautiful circle. And you are part of that too. You breathe in, and the air gives itself to you, and you breathe out and give something back without thinking, without trying, just naturally, part of the circle, always have been. So breathe in now, let the air fill you, softly, completely, and breathe out. Let it go, easy, and as you do, feel how naturally you belong to this, how effortlessly you are part of everything, the breathing, the resting, the quiet turning of the world. You don't have to earn your place in the circle. You already have one. You've always had one. And tonight, your place in the circle is right here, warm, still, resting. Let the night hold you the way it holds everything. The sleeping forest, the slow river, the small bird on its branch, the seed in the earth, the clouds drifting overhead, all of it held in the great, gentle dark. And you, right there in the middle of it, already part of it, already home. There is nothing more you need to do tonight, nothing more you need to understand, nothing more you need to become. You are already exactly where the circle needs you to be, right here, right now, breathing, resting, drifting, and the circle turns, slowly, as it always has, as it always will, carrying you gently through the quiet dark and back in its own time toward the light. So we've been wandering through the seasons and the rain and the seeds and the birds and the quiet forest at night, and all of those circles turning slowly within one another, like ripples on still water, each one contained within a larger one, each one part of something even bigger. And now I'd like to gently lift our gaze just a little away from the forest floor, away from the river, away from the sleeping birds, and look a little higher, a little further, into something so vast and so calm that just thinking about it has a way of making everything feel very small and very peaceful. Let's look up at the sky, at the stars, at the great, dark, quiet universe turning above us right now. Step outside for a moment in your imagination. It is a clear night. The air is cool and still, and above you, spread across the darkness like scattered light, are the stars, thousands of them, millions of them, so many that the sky looks dusted with them, each one a sun unimaginably far away, and yet visible, still sending their light all the way to your eyes, across distances so large that the numbers have no meaning to us. Not really. They are simply vast, And here is something gentle to think about. The light you see when you look at a star did not leave that star tonight. It left long ago. Some of it hundreds of years ago. Some of it thousands. Some of the light in that sky above you has been traveling since before your great-great-great-grandparents were born, crossing the dark and the cold and the silence and arriving tonight just for you. Isn't that a remarkable thing? To think that the universe sent you something that took 1,000 years to arrive, and it came on exactly the right night. The night you happened to look up, and those stars, they are not still. Even though they look still to us, they are moving. Everything up there is moving in enormous, slow, sweeping circles. Stars orbiting other stars. Systems of stars orbiting the center of galaxies. Galaxies drifting through the great ocean of space. All of it in motion. All of it in circles. Our own sun, that warm, familiar, golden thing that rises every morning and sets every evening, is itself on a journey, moving through the galaxy in a slow, graceful arc that takes hundreds of millions of years to complete. And our little Earth, spinning on its own, while orbiting the sun, while the sun orbits the galaxy, while the galaxy moves through the universe, circles within circles within circles, all the way down, all the way up, everything turning, everything continuing, and you, on this spinning, orbiting, drifting world, lying still, eyes heavy, breathing slowly, are part of all of it, every single layer of it. You are not separate from the universe. You are made of it, quite literally. This is something that scientists have known for a long time, and it is one of the most quietly beautiful facts I know. The atoms in your body, the tiny, invisible building blocks of everything you are, were forged inside stars. Long before our sun existed, stars are not just lights in the sky. They are, in a sense, factories. They take simple things. Hydrogen, the lightest, most common element in the universe, and over millions of years, through tremendous heat and pressure and time, they transform it into heavier things. Carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, iron, the very elements that make up you. And when a star reaches the end of its long, long life, it doesn't simply disappear. It releases everything it has made out into space, in a slow, expanding cloud of light and matter that drifts for millions of years through the dark, and eventually some of that matter gathers again, pulled together by gravity, and forms new stars, new planets, new worlds. Our world was made from the remains of stars that lived and died before our sun was born, and the carbon in your body was made in one of those ancient stars. The oxygen you breathe, the iron in your blood, all of it came from somewhere out there, from stars that burned and gave themselves away long before you were here. You are, in the most literal and beautiful sense, stardust. Let that settle for a moment, very gently. You are not small, not separate, not insignificant. You are the universe, looking at itself, breathing, resting, wondering. On a quiet night, let's come back a little closer now, back to our own beautiful world. This small, blue, living planet, spinning through space in its long, slow orbit around the sun. Think about the Earth for a moment, not as a place with countries and cities and noise, but as a living thing, a sphere of rock and water and air, moving through space, wrapped in a thin, fragile layer of atmosphere that holds the warmth in and keeps the cold out, and makes all of this possible, all of the life, all of the circles, all of the seasons and rivers and forests, all of us. The Earth has been on this same journey, around the same sun, for over 4 billion years. 4 billion, and not once has it strayed. Not once has it stopped. Not once has it failed to bring the spring, or the morning, or the warmth. It just keeps going, steady, patient, faithful, and on this journey, it has seen such extraordinary things. It has watched the first living creatures appear in its oceans, tiny, simple, barely there, and then, over unimaginable stretches of time, watched life grow and diversify and spread into every corner and crevice and quiet place. Life finding ways to exist in the deepest ocean trenches, in the coldest mountain peaks, in the driest deserts, in the darkest caves. Life is remarkably good at finding its way, and through all of those billions of years, the circle has turned, the seasons have come and gone, the days have followed the nights, the rain has fallen and risen and fallen again, the seeds have grown and flowered and seeded again, over and over, and endlessly patient, endlessly creative, endlessly generous. Circle of life. There is one more circle I want to share with you. Before we drift even further, a circle so close to you that you carry it with you always. The breath, right now, without thinking about it. Your body is breathing. Air is moving in and out in a rhythm that has been with you every moment of your entire life. Even in sleep, even in the deepest rest, your body breathes, and that breath is part of the largest circle of all. Think about where the air comes from. It comes from the trees and the grass and every green living thing that breathes out what you breathe in and breathes in what you breathe out. You breathe out carbon dioxide, and the trees take it in and use it to grow, to make leaves, to make the very oxygen that comes back to you. You and the trees are breathing each other right now, tonight, in a circle so simple and so perfect that it has been running uninterrupted for hundreds of millions of years. Every breath you take has been breathed before by creatures and trees and people across all of history. The air in your lungs right now has been in the lungs of things that lived long before memory, and the air you breathe out will go on and be breathed by things you will never meet, in times you will never see. You are part of that chain, that long, breathing, living chain that stretches back to the very beginning and forward to wherever things are going. And you are in the middle of it right now, breathing. So breathe in slowly and know that you are receiving something ancient, something that has traveled through forests and centuries to reach you tonight. And breathe out and give something back to the circle, to the trees, to everything that comes after. Just breathe in and out, in and out. Part of everything, always. Let's drift just a little further into something even larger, even slower, time itself. We tend to think of time as a line, something moving in one direction, from past to future, never turning back, always forward. But nature doesn't seem to agree. Nature thinks of time as a circle, or perhaps many circles. Nested inside one another, there is the daily circle, the breath of day and night, 24 hours, turning. There is the monthly circle, the moon, waxing and waning, growing full, and then releasing its fullness, and growing dark, and then filling again. A slow, silvery rhythm that has guided creatures and tides and seasons. Since the very beginning, there is the yearly circle, the seasons turning slowly, winter to spring, summer to autumn, and back to winter, around and around. And then there are the great circles, the ones so large we cannot see them, the slow drift of continents, the rise and fall of mountain ranges, the coming and going of ice ages, the birth and death of stars, the expansion of the universe itself, circles so enormous that a single human life is just one quiet breath within them. And yet, that one quiet breath matters. It is part of the circle, an essential, irreplaceable part. Your life, with all its seasons, and its days and nights, and its restings and wakings, is its own perfect circle, moving within all the other circles, part of all of them, touching all of them, and right now, in this quiet, dark, still part of your circle, you are resting the way all things rest when the time for resting comes, and that is exactly right. Let me tell you about a flower, a very simple one, growing in a meadow, somewhere green and quiet. In spring, it pushes up through the soil, just a small green shoot. Nothing remarkable to look at. Not yet. It grows slowly, over days and weeks, reaching upward, finding the light, and then one morning it opens a single flower, perhaps yellow or soft purple or the palest white, and for a few weeks it is there, swaying gently in the breeze, catching the light, visited by bees and butterflies and small flying things, all of them part of its circle, all of them receiving something from it and giving something back. And then, when the season turns, the flower closes, the petals fall, the stem browns and bends, and the flower seems to be gone. But underground, the roots are still there, resting, waiting, patient as ever, holding everything the flower needs to return and next spring without fail, without needing to be reminded. It comes back from the same roots, from the same quiet place in the earth, the same flower, beginning again. This is the circle the flower knows. This is the only time it has, and it uses it completely, blooming fully. When it blooms and resting fully, when it rests, there is a wisdom in that we can carry with us lightly. Bloom when you bloom. Rest when you rest. And trust the roots. They are always there, holding everything, even when the flower is not visible, even in the quiet dark, even now, and slowly, as we let these ideas settle, as we let the stars and the seeds and the seasons and the breathing forest and all those vast, patient circles drift gently through us, there is a feeling that begins to arrive, quietly, without announcement, a feeling of belonging, of being held, of being exactly where you are supposed to be, in exactly the right moment of the circle. You are the flower resting in winter. You are the bird on its branch. You are the raindrop finding its way. You are the seed in the earth. You are the star's light, arriving after a long journey. You are all of these things, all at once, right now, in this quiet room, in this soft and gentle dark, and the circle holds you, as it has always held you, as it will always hold you. There is nothing to figure out, nothing to solve, nothing to prepare for. Just this, the breathing, the resting, the turning of the world, all around you, endlessly, peacefully, on and on. So here we are, still here, still breathing, still drifting. We've travelled quite far tonight, through the seasons, and the rain, and the seeds in the earth, and the birds on their great journeys, and the quiet forest, and all those stars burning so patiently, so far away, and the breath that connects you to everything that has ever lived. And now I'd like to slow down even further, if that's possible, even more than we already have, and just sit for a little while right here in the middle of all those circles and reflect very quietly on what all of it means, not in a complicated way, not in a way that requires any thinking, just feeling, letting these ideas land softly the way snow lands, without a sound. There is something that I notice every time I think about the circle of life, something that doesn't arrive loudly. It doesn't announce itself. It just settles, like the air after a long, slow exhale. It is peace, a very particular kind of peace, not the kind that comes from everything being perfect, or from having all the answers, or from things going exactly the way you hoped, but the kind of peace that comes from realizing that the circle has always been turning, long before you arrived, and will go on turning long after this night, and somewhere in all of that turning, you have your place. You have always had your place. Think about that for a moment, not with your mind, but with something quieter, something deeper, that part of you that already knows things, Before your thoughts catch up, the circle has never lost you. Not once. Not on the hardest days. Not in the most uncertain nights. Not when things felt broken, or still, or very, very quiet. You were always in the circle, always moving, even when it felt like stillness. Even when it felt like nothing was happening, something was always happening beneath the surface, in the roots, in the dark, in the quiet. Something was always getting ready. I want to talk about patience for a moment, because nature is the most patient thing I know, and there is something very calming about that. The mountains, those enormous, ancient, silent things, they were not built in a day, or a year, or 1,000 years. They rose so slowly that no creature alive could ever witness it. Just the earth pressing upward, millimeter by millimeter, over millions of years, and they stand there now, immovable, vast, patient, as though they have all the time in the world, because, in a sense, they do. The canyon, carved by water over millions of years, that slow river just doing what rivers do, flowing, finding the lowest point, not trying to carve anything, just flowing. And yet, over time, something breathtaking was made. Patience made that unhurried, steady, patient movement, one day at a time, one drop of water at a time. Nature never rushes, and yet everything gets done. Everything arrives. Everything becomes what it is meant to become in exactly the right time. We are taught, sometimes, that speed is important, that things should happen quickly. That waiting is a kind of failure. But the mountain doesn't believe that, and the river doesn't believe that, and the seed doesn't believe that, and the flower that returns every spring from the same quiet roots doesn't believe that either. They all know something we sometimes forget, that the most beautiful things take time. That patience is not passive. It is deeply, quietly, actively, trustful. It is saying, I believe in the circle. I believe the spring will come. I believe the roots are holding. I believe that what is meant to grow will grow in its own time, in its own way. And that kind of patience is a very restful thing. When we stop pushing, when we stop forcing, when we let things move at the pace they naturally move, something in us relaxes. Something very deep lets go, and we become a little more like the mountain, a little more like the river, a little more like the seed, trusting the circle. There is a gift that the night gives, that the day rarely offers, and that is stillness. In the day, there is always something moving, something asking for attention, something to respond to, something to do. But at night, especially in these quiet hours, when the world has slowed and the sounds have softened, and the only thing you need to do is breathe, the stillness comes. And stillness is not emptiness. I want you to know that stillness is not nothing. Stillness is actually very full. Think about a still pond. On a calm morning, No wind, no ripples, just glass-smooth water, perfectly still. In that stillness, you can see everything. The reflection of the sky, the trees, the clouds passing overhead. A still pond reflects more than a choppy one, because the stillness creates clarity. And so it is with us. When we are still, when we are quiet, when we let the busyness settle, like silt, to the bottom, we see more clearly, we feel more gently, we understand without having to think. This stillness you are in right now, this quiet, this soft, heavy, slowly breathing place you are in, is not wasted time, it is not emptiness, it is the still pond, reflecting something true. And you don't even have to look at the reflection. You don't have to understand it, or interpret it, or do anything with it. You can simply be the pond, still, quiet, clear. Here is something gentle that I've been thinking about. Something that might seem a little sad at first, but if you hold it lightly, turns into something very soft. Nothing lasts forever. I know. We are told this as though it is a warning, as though it is something to mourn. But what if it isn't? What if impermanence is actually one of the kindest things about life? Think about a beautiful autumn leaf, turning red and gold on the branch. Would it be as beautiful if it stayed there forever? If it never fell? If it never changed? I'm not sure it would. Part of what makes it breathtaking is that it is here, right now, and soon it will be gone. And that makes us look at it, really look at it, with a kind of gentle attention that we might not give to something permanent. Or think about a sunset, that slow, warm, fading light, that you can never quite hold on to. No matter how long you look, the colours are always shifting, always becoming something else, and then quietly becoming dark. And we love sunsets, perhaps more than almost anything else in nature, precisely because they are passing, precisely because they are so briefly, so beautifully there. Impermanence doesn't take things away from us. It makes us present for them. It asks us to notice, to be here, right now, for this, before it shifts into something new. And this moment, right now, this soft, quiet, drifting moment, is its own kind of sunset. Beautiful, passing, worth being here for. So be here for it, fully, gently, without trying to hold it, without trying to rush through it. Just be here, in this beautiful, passing, perfectly impermanent moment. The earth has been here for a very long time. As we spoke about earlier, 4 billion years. And in all of that time, it has learned some things, quietly, without writing them down, without teaching them, just knowing them, the way old things know things. It knows how to hold without grasping. It knows how to feed without keeping score. It knows how to wait without impatience. It knows how to receive the rain and let it go again. Without clinging, it knows how to hold the seed in the cold and the dark, and trust that when the warmth comes, the seed will know what to do. It knows how to accept the falling leaves and turn them into something nourishing. Not immediately, not quickly, but gently over time, and it knows how to be still while everything moves across its surface. The wind, the water, the creatures, the seasons, the light, all of it passing, all of it temporary, and the earth just holding beneath all of it, patient. Still, I think if we could be a little more like the earth, on some days, on some nights, we might find things a little easier, not holding too tightly, not rushing the seeds, not mourning the falling leaves, just holding and trusting and being still while the world does what the world does. And right now, you are doing exactly that. You are being still. You are letting the world turn without your help. You are trusting and resting and holding and being held. And that is more than enough. I want to leave you with one more gentle thought before we drift even further into the softest part of tonight. Somewhere right now, on the other side of the world, a child is being born, taking their very first breath, joining the circle for the very first time, and somewhere an old tree is falling quietly in a forest, returning to the earth, becoming part of the ground. That will feed the next generation of trees. And somewhere a river is reaching the sea after a long winding journey, and somewhere a seed is stirring in the dark for the first time, and somewhere someone is watching a sunrise, the very same sun you are sleeping under, and they are beginning their day just as you are ending yours, all of it happening all at once, right now, while you lie here, breathing, resting, held by the dark. The circle is always moving in every direction, in every corner of the world and of the universe. All those great slow circles, turning without effort, without urgency, without end. And you are part of all of it. Right now, in this quiet, in this still, in this soft and perfect dark, you are part of everything, and everything is at peace. So let yourself be at peace too, just for tonight, just for now. Let the thoughts settle, let the worries rest, let the day be behind you, and let this moment, this slow, still, breathing moment, be all there is, just this. So here we are, still together, still drifting, still breathing. We've come a long way tonight, through all those quiet, beautiful circles, and now we are arriving somewhere very soft, very still, very close to sleep. And I want you to know that wherever you are right now, however heavy your eyes feel, however slow your thoughts have become, that is exactly right. That is exactly where you are supposed to be. You don't have to follow every word anymore. You don't have to keep up. You don't have to understand, or remember, or hold on to anything at all. Just let the words be sound. Soft, slow, warm sound, washing over you the way water washes over smooth stones, gently, without asking anything of them. Imagine you are lying on the softest shore, the sand beneath you, warm and fine, shaped perfectly to hold you, The sky above is dark and full of stars, and the air is warm and still, and very slowly you can hear the sea, not close, not loud, just there, in the distance, a low, slow, rhythmic sound. In and out, in and out, like breathing, like the whole ocean breathing. And with each slow wave, you feel yourself sinking a little deeper into the sand, into the warmth, into the quiet. The sound of the water is the only sound, and it is the most peaceful sound you have ever heard. In and out, in and out. Let that rhythm match your breathing, just gently, naturally, without trying. Breathe in with the wave and breathe out as it pulls back, slowly, all the way back into the dark water, in and out. And with each breath, each slow, easy, unhurried breath, you feel a little heavier, a little more settled, a little further from the day, and a little closer to sleep. The dark around you is not empty, it is full of quiet things. The sleeping forest, the drifting clouds, the slow stars, the patient earth, all of them resting, just like you, all of them held in this same gentle dark. The darkness is not something to move through or escape from. It is somewhere to rest. It has always been this way. Every creature that has ever lived has rested in the dark, has closed its eyes and trusted that the world would still be there in the morning, and it always has been, every single time, so you can trust it too. This dark, this quiet, this soft and patient night, it will hold you all the way through until morning comes in its own gentle time. And morning will come, it always does, but that is very far away. Right now, there is only this, the dark, the quiet, the slow, easy breathing. I want you to feel for just a moment how heavy your body has become, not in an uncomfortable way, in a warm, sinking, deeply settled way. Feel your head heavy against the pillow, so heavy, so perfectly heavy, like it belongs there, like the pillow was made just for this, just for now. And your shoulders, let them fall even further than they already have. There is no reason to hold them up, not tonight, not now, just let them go. And your arms, wherever they are resting, let them be heavy, let them sink into the bed, into the warmth beneath them. And your hands, let your fingers be soft, uncurled, open like petals, gently opening and resting, and your chest rising and falling so slowly, so quietly, just breathing, and your legs heavy, long, still, like they have grown roots into the bed beneath you, and your feet warm and still and resting, your whole body from the top of your head to the soles of your feet resting completely. There is nothing it needs to do right now, nowhere it needs to go, nothing it needs to carry, just rest. Your body knows how to do this. It has always known, even before you learned to think. It knew how to rest, how to slow, how to let go, and it is doing that right now, without you needing to help, without you needing to do anything at all. Just let it. And if thoughts come, that is okay. Let them come. Just don't follow them. Imagine you are lying on that warm, soft shore, looking up at the night sky, and the thoughts are like clouds, drifting slowly from one side of the sky to the other. You can see them without reaching for them. You can notice them without climbing inside them. A thought about tomorrow, just a cloud, drifting past. A thought about something you said, or something you forgot. Just a cloud, moving slowly across the sky, and then gone. You don't need to chase them. You don't need to solve them. Not tonight. Tonight, they are just clouds, and you are on the shore, warm and still, and watching them pass, without urgency, without worry. Let them drift, and beneath those drifting thoughts, there is something quieter, something that doesn't move, something steady and still and calm. That is where you are going, right now, deeper than the thoughts, deeper than the clouds, into that still, quiet, deep place where the circle is always turning and everything is always okay. Imagine a field, a wide, open, quiet field. At the end of a long summer's day, the light is fading, that soft golden hour when everything glows just a little, when the air is warm and thick and still, and the grasses are tall and moving very gently in a slow breeze, and you are there, lying in the grass, the earth beneath you, warm from a full day of sun, still holding that warmth, giving it back to you. Slowly, the sky above is turning from pale gold to rose to the softest purple, and the first stars are beginning to appear, shyly, one by one, and the sounds are fading. The birds are quieting, the insects are settling, the world is growing still, and you are part of that stillness. You are part of the field, and the fading light, and the warm earth beneath you, and the stars slowly appearing above, part of the circle, part of the quiet, part of everything, and slowly, without deciding to, your eyes grow heavy. The gold of the sky becomes the warm dark behind your eyelids, and the sounds grow softer and further away, and the earth holds you, the way it holds everything, without effort, without condition, and the night settles around you like a blanket, warm and dark and safe. This is the slowest part, right here, right now, the part of the night when the world has fully settled, when even the thoughts have grown quiet, when even the breath has slowed to something barely there. This is the place between waking and sleeping, That soft, warm, borderless place where time becomes unclear and edges soften and nothing is quite solid or quite certain, and that is a wonderful thing. Let yourself be here, in this in-between place, not asleep yet, not quite awake, just here, floating very gently, like a leaf on perfectly still water, not going anywhere, just resting on the surface, the water holding it without effort, and the leaf trusting the water without thinking, just there, still, safe. You can let go now of whatever you were holding, whatever thought, whatever worry, whatever small knot of something that was still there, somewhere. Just let it go, like the tree lets go of its leaves. In autumn, not with sadness, but with ease, with trust, let it fall gently into the dark, where it will find its own circle, in its own time, and you just rest. The circle is still turning, even now, even as you drift. The earth is spinning, slowly, steadily, carrying you through the dark. Toward morning, the stars are moving in their great, slow arcs. The clouds are drifting somewhere above you. The trees are breathing in and out, in and out. The rivers are flowing, finding their way. The seeds are sleeping in the earth. The birds are still on their branches, trusting the night, and you are part of all of it, carried by all of it, held by all of it. You don't have to do anything to stay in the circle. You already are. You always have been. You always will be. Just breathe in and out, and let the circle carry you the way it carries everything, without effort, without asking, without end. In and out, in and out. You are safe, you are held, you are part of the circle, and the circle is at peace. And so are you. Just rest. Let the night do what the night does, and drift very slowly, somewhere warm and dark and safe and still. The circle will be here when you wake, still turning, still holding, still carrying everything, including you. But that is morning, and morning is very far away. For now, there is only this, the breathing, the dark, the still, the quiet, the slow turning of the world all around you. And so, here we are, at the gentlest part of the night, still drifting, still breathing, still held. We've wandered such a long way together tonight, through all those quiet circles, the seasons turning, the rain finding its way, the seeds in the dark, the birds on their branches, the stars sending their ancient light, the breath connecting us to everything that has ever lived. And now, the words are slowing, the way all things slow. When the time for rest has come, there is nothing left to explain, nothing left to understand, nothing left to do. Just this soft, dark, still, breathing place. And I want you to know, before I grow quiet, before the words fade into the dark, that it has been a genuine pleasure to wander through the night with you, to sit beside you in all those quiet places, the field at dusk, the shore with a slow tide, the forest breathing, the still pond reflecting the stars. You came here tonight, perhaps because the day was long, perhaps because the thoughts were loud, perhaps because something in you knew it needed this, a little quiet, a little stillness, a little reminder that you are part of something much larger and much more peaceful than whatever was worrying you. And I hope you found that tonight, even just a little, even just enough to let the weight settle, a gentle invitation. We gather here on this quiet channel every evening for exactly this, not to rush anywhere, not to learn anything difficult, just to slow down together. And if tonight brought you even the smallest sense of peace, even just a softening behind the eyes, or a loosening in the shoulders, or a single moment where the thoughts went quiet and there was only the breathing, then perhaps you might like to come back some evening when the day has been long again, when the world feels a little loud again, when you need somewhere soft and slow and safe. We will be here. We are always here, quiet and unhurried, waiting the way the shore waits for the tide, without impatience, without urgency, just here. And if you'd like, there is a small and gentle way to make sure you can always find your way back, a little button somewhere nearby that simply says subscribe, and pressing it is like leaving a small lantern at the edge of the forest, so that whenever the night is long and you need somewhere to wander, you can find your way back here to this quiet place. No pressure, no urgency, just a soft invitation, like a door left gently open on a warm evening. And if you'd like to share this place with someone you love, someone who finds the nights long, or the thoughts loud, or the world a little too fast, you're welcome to, quietly, like passing someone a warm cup of something without saying much, just here. This might help the last few words. And now, the words are nearly gone, and that is okay. Words were never really what this was about. They were just a path, a gentle, winding path through the dark towards somewhere quieter. And you are there now, or very close. The circle is still turning all around you, as it always has, as it always will. The earth is spinning, the stars are drifting, the seeds are sleeping, the tide is breathing, the forest is still, the birds are resting, and you are resting too. Part of all of it, held by all of it, carried gently through the dark. There is nowhere to go, nothing to do, nothing to be, just here, warm, still, breathing, in and out, and in, and the circle holds you as it has always held everything. Good night. Sleep gently. You are safe. You are held. You are part of the circle, always, always.